Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. A long-awaited, much requested review.
Too long.
We've got it, we're finally doing it. AXIOM.
It looks great. I mean, we tested it in January at the PGA show.
It's been a while.
Yourself and Steven and even I hit it and it felt unreal. We all got excited and it took a little long to get to us, but it'll be in the demo matrix soon.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, so it definitely, there was a ton of hype. They obviously invited us to come get a first look at it, which was cool. But it has been a long time since we've done that.
Totally.
And we filmed a little bit there, but we kind of thought, you know what, we need to get back in the studio, get proper numbers, make sure the lies are all equal and everything like that. So that's why we've waited, and obviously wanted to get the right specs in.
Yeah.
So 3 different shaft weights in these?
75, 105, and 125. It's funny, when Ventus came out, everyone asked us, why don't they make an iron shaft?
That's true.
Make a hybrid shaft, why don't they make an iron shaft? They have Velocore and AXIOM, really cool tech. We know it works, we know it's pretty stable, tightens up dispersion. And to add that into an iron shaft in 3 different weight categories, I think is super smart.
So 75, 105, and 125, is that going to cover pretty much everybody?
It's going to cover a lot of people.
Yeah, because I'd imagine like the 105X is probably a little bit heavier.
Yeah, I mean, the 125, the raw weight's 130.
Okay, so this actually would be closer to 130.
Correct. They've got kind of 3 different parallel sections, like a 2-iron, a 5-iron, and a 9-iron. And there's room for some tipping when you build this set of irons up. Not too much because you don't want to lose the tech down below.
Yep.
But that weight category with a little bit of tipping here and there, you can fit a lot of customers into these.
So tell me about this. There's almost like I guess Project X would call it like a flighted system. This is a little bit different. So
a little different. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call this an AMT, like ascending mass technology. All the shafts are the same weight.
Right.
It just gives you a little bit more, playability. You can change the characteristics a touch.
How does that work exactly? Like it's to do with the tip sections?
Yeah, exactly. So you're basically getting 3 sets of blanks.
3 different sets within
and
one
then
iron
you have
set.
a little bit of room to tip here and there, and then obviously final cut to length.
So ideally, the way they're designing this to work would be short iron should play a little bit stiffer.
You
control the flight a bit.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. That's gonna that's your shot making.
Your scoring zone.
Right? Yeah.
And then the long irons should theoretically play a little bit softer, potentially help you get a little bit more launch out of the ball.
Totally. And then long irons, obviously, a little bit more height.
Yeah.
That power iron, but definitely the most important is down below, just having those scoring irons a little bit more, tighter, more consistent. That's huge.
Gotcha. One of the things people often ask about graphite, I mean, I think we're going to hit some shots and see how they perform. I expect them to perform quite well.
Yeah.
We've seen that with a lot of high-end graphite shafts. A lot of the time it comes down to price for people. Are these, so they're going to be somewhere around 100, 125 a shaft?
Yeah.
Is that what other graphite shafts are charging? Is this higher, lower?
Yeah, I mean, in Canadian prices, steel fiber, private reserves, $129.
Okay. We were saying US before, but yeah.
New Acra TZI that's just come out that hopefully we'll do a test on those pretty soon are up there. So yeah, graphite's generally going to be up there in that range. It's the amount of technology that's in there.
It's a lot going on. It's basically a Ventus iron, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I would think is if you invested in these, say you invest in them, it's a big amount of money. You should be able to keep the shafts for years, even if you switch heads.
Totally. Yeah.
So there is that. But yeah, not cheap, but we're going to see how they perform. I think a lot of people in this weight category, especially, they've had to go heavy steel. It's not easy on the joints, and it can feel a little kind of hard to swing at times. So
that, like you said, that's the nicest thing with graphite. You can protect the elbows, the back, the shoulders, all that reduced vibration. If you have a player that, like yourself, who's fast and doesn't want that injury, this has got your name all over.
This is the way to go. Okay, well, why don't we hit some?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. It's a good one to start with. That was very, very thin.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I notice a lot with graphite is like, as thin as that was, it doesn't vibrate up your hands the same way.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And I guess some people might think, okay, well, I want the feedback from my iron. Am I not going to get enough feedback? I don't know that I buy that because sure, it's dampening it, but I could tell you right away I hit it thin.
Yeah.
And a little bit in the heel. It's not like it's completely masking it.
Yeah, like steel, you have a ton of workability still with graphite.
Yeah.
You're still going to get all the feel that you want out of it. I believe, different graphite shafts or different shafts into heads changes the sound of the club.
It definitely
does.
To
me, that definitely sounds very muted.
Yes.
Which right away tells me, okay, is it heavy? Is it stout? That kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And that's what the 125 is. It's definitely a stouter graphite shaft.
Yeah. It struck a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, the flight's nice. Really nice.
It's a strike.
Just, again, a shade thin, but it's flying nice. So the torque on this, you were saying, is like 1.8 or something?
Yeah, it's like
Super
sub
low.
2 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't feel overly heavy because, again, 130 with raw, is the raw weight. So we haven't tipped this one really. We've butt cut it, so it's 125, 126 kind of thing. Does it feel overly heavy?
I don't know if it's the balance point or something else, but no, it actually feels like, probably if I were to guess, if you never told me, I would have guessed it was like 119, 120.
Okay, cool.
So it feels nice. It feels easy
good.
to swing. That's nice. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot.
I mean, with that Velocore technology, obviously reduce the twisting and keep it more stable. Swing.
It's a nice, go in. It's a nice experience. Go
in.
Slow greens. It's really just a nice experience to hit them. This is, to me, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I feel like I'm having an easy time swinging. It doesn't feel heavy, doesn't feel too stout.
Yeah.
But it's just as stable as anything else. I don't think I'm losing, out on stability to a Project X or something like that.
The amount of technology you're getting in this graphite shaft, to me, as a gear junkie, is pretty impressive.
It is pretty cool. All right, move me back to 2. I'm gonna go at it. These were smooth. I'm gonna go at a couple and see how it does. Just a little more speed at that. It's hanging on nice. Yeah, that's nice. Pushed it a hair. That's cool. You can flight it really high, can't you?
Yeah. We've built, obviously I've built you a few sets of irons, and again, we were chatting about, you played X7, you play LS now. I mean, the way you're striking them as a very Coles Notes fitting, it's very consistent.
I mean, I could play these, there's no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, even the odd little skinny shot that's in there, it's not really hurting you. So it's, everything's nice and square. It's timing really well.
That's a good point.
It fits you really nicely.
I think I'd take some time to, just to hone in the strike a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right. To me, it's delivering the face very square. Because even the misses I've had, even if I hit it a bit thinner fat, the face is coming back square. Yeah. That's important for me.
The big thing for me as a club builder, the balance point on these, not significantly high as some other graphite iron shafts at this weight that we've all tested and played.
Yeah.
So when you go to build them, we're not jamming a ton of weight in the club head to make it get to a certain swing weight. I mean, if you're playing over length, it's okay, but at even standard length, some of that 120 graphite, it just gets too light in swing weight.
So you really need to be offsetting it with, like, what do you do, tip weights and stuff?
Yeah, we'll put some graphite tip weights. Again, the tough thing with graphite tip weights, when you get into the 120 gram stuff, the diameter of that tip section is so tight.
There's nothing there.
I mean, you can bore it out. I don't love boring graphite out because I'm just afraid it's going to break.
Sure, yeah.
The good old-fashioned lead tape, which looks ugly. Nothing you'd want to do less than buy a brand new set of irons and then pack it with lead tape.
I couldn't agree more. I would be the last thing I want to do. So
so
that's good to know. These are a little bit easier to build with them.
Definitely.
It's as good as I can do. Yeah, they're really easy to flight up in the air, which I actually really, really like. That's a nice high ball flight.
I'd love to build you a set of these so we could see what the scoring clubs do, that 8-9 pitching wedge.
That's a great point. Yeah, we should do that in the future, because like a pitching wedge 9-8, obviously, I'm saying, I know this is a really stiff shaft, it's meant for quick players. I'm complimenting the flight on a 6 iron because I want to flight 6.54 a little bit more in the air, and then you should be using skill if you want to flight it down more. Yeah, you're right. In the 8-9 wedge, I'd be curious kind of how that controls it a bit. Plays a little bit stiffer, keeps it from, I guess, getting too high in the air on windy days.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm pretty damn impressed with this.
I'm excited to have it in the demo matrix. Hopefully
people will
have
be
it in a
stoked to
couple
try
weeks.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine a whole bag of Velocore, basically.
Yeah, no kidding.
To make a putter shaft.
That's expensive golf.
Can you imagine they make a putter shaft too?
They have one.
They need a Velocore one. Yeah. Anyway, needless to say, we're pretty impressed. I'm glad to hear that it's good to build. Like, it's going to be good to build with, not too high balance point, because that does become one-dimensional.
Yeah. You don't have to. I mean, we're custom builders. I don't want to say we don't have to tinker too much, but I don't want to lose the integrity of what the shaft is meant to do.
Right. Because when you start
for me.
messing around with it, it does change the profile of it if you have too
100%.
much weight being distributed. But
yeah,
very impressed. I mean, we needed to be impressed. They are very expensive.
Yeah.
But listen, I mean, they're going to be worth the investment if you're in that kind of conversation where you want graphite, you want a high performance graphite, you know, it's going to come up against MMT and these ones. It's going to hold its own for sure, I think.
I mean, with the engineers at Fuji, use of Enzo, 3 years in the making to get us an iron shaft, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good work. Okay, awesome. Well, that lived up to the hype, needless to say.
Yeah.
As Mikey said, these guys are going to have it in the shop very soon. You can ask for it in your fit.
Yep.
Let us know what you guys think. Obviously, it's a bit of a price trade-off, but I think you guys saw the performance. I mean, to plug and play an iron like that, when I normally play, you know, X or TX steel, I can just put that in there and be happy.
100%.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.